I feel isolated, at the same time inundated by all these uncertain predictions. Surrounded by a bunch of people, but they all at a distance. And their intentions is just to survive through this pandemic. When I comment and mention your name, I get no response from the one that truly matters. But I can post something on the internet and in 5 seconds get likes from people looking at me but paying no attention. Hurting on the inside. But you already know that, don't you? Believers and your words say if I hit my knees and pray, then I may receive a touch of healing. But if you see that I need it, then why won't you? I'm beyond asking for you to heal me. Now I'm just wondering, do you hear me? Am I on the radar of your existence? Steeped in my affliction like a tea bag of water, drowning from my pain because of lack of being noticed or cared for. And I don't mean people showing me empathy. I mean by the God whose job is to hold me tenderly. What do you do when God feels 1 billion miles away and everything else seems to lack personal space? The weight on your shoulders, the thoughts in your head, your personal aches, the mistakes in your past showing up in your presence today with an unpleasant bouquet of regrets, making requests to have a seat at the table and fix it a plate so it can nest next to your future, sabotaging its potential. I need a miracle, not the resurrection of somebody or causing illness to flee. The miracle I need is amongst 1 billion people sending you pleas, those with grief, those with joy, and those who really need you to heal a disease. Amongst all of those people, can you still see me? I'm no different than King David when barbarians raided his home, taking possessions and his family. He returned from war exhausted, asking, Lord, what do I do? Do I retreat or do I pursue? And you responded with silence. Just gave him strength for the journey. I relate to Elijah when he had death threats from Jezebel. He figured death was the best bet. And yet you didn't acknowledge his request. You responded with silence and gave him strength for the journey. Jesus, you know what this feels like. You remember that still night in the Garden of Gethsemane when you told your favorite 3 to come and pray until the burden was released. Then you hit your knees and gave up petitions so stressful that you started to bleed because you knew in your future there was a death that carried the sins of humanity. And your request was, is there any way this cup can pass from me? And he responded with silence. Just sent you an angel to give you strength for the journey. I'm starting to see a pattern in every doubt and every question. In every sermon, in every message, in every scripture, in every text, in every prayer hurled up out of desperation, the indication that I have God's attention is that I wasn't consumed by yesterday's affliction. Although I would love an audible voice to answer my prayers so I can have the proof that the one my hope is anchored in is not a fluke, I have something greater. Every morning when I wake up in the morning and say thank you, it's always in delay to you saying, I see you. You know my every need without me having to mention. So much in the details, you know the root cause of my hypertension. Down to the seconds of when anxiety became a terrorist to my sanity. I worship a God that's incapable of producing anything other than victory, whether it's here on earth or in his presence in the heavenlies. The mere fact that I have strength for the journey is in essence God saying to me, amongst everyone seeking him, amongst everyone crying out to him, amongst every single person's plea, that his attention is always on me.